welcome to The Message Today, Series 3, Episode 8. This week we have special guests, Linz from LZ7, music from Amongst Wolves, and our very own Quote of the Day Queen, Lauren Jubb, will be sharing her story.
Hey, what's happening? My name is Daniel. Now, this week we'll be looking at the topic of suicide. This is another sensitive topic, but one that we shouldn't shy away from. We do, however, recommend that teachers and leaders watch the episode before showing their students and young people. If you have any personal connection to this topic and are currently at home watching this alone, please do consider asking a parent or guardian to watch this with you.
According to research from the Samaritans, every 90 minutes in the UK, a life is lost to suicide. Papyrus.org state that suicide is the leading cause of young deaths in the UK, and they believe that many young suicides can be prevented. They exist to reduce the number of young people who take their own lives by shattering the stigma around suicide and equipping young people and their communities with the skills to recognise and respond to suicidal behaviour.
Today we hope to give you some facts, help you spot the signs and give you the tools to help you make healthy choices moving forward. Let's start this episode by watching this video by Ben from Soulbox.
Maybe we could talk about this. More people have thought about this than you thought. More have thought through the thoughts that cause them to question their cause. And maybe we all struggle with the thought that says, end it all, to second guess our cause, to pretend that it's all fine. But let's define fine. I'm fine's hidden meaning is really, I'm lying. You keep a flight mentality when struggle swings by, 'cause most days it feels like you're too wounded to fight. Maybe we could talk about this. Going through the motions, every moment missed. Too busy focusing on coping, hoping seems hopeless. This road feels lonely, and the only antidote, stay busy and focus. We could talk about this. Talk about the pain we face every day, more than you think. And when you're brought to the brink, just remember this. There is a purpose. See, now I'm more in sync with worth than ever before. Perfection is a myth, I have to live with my flaws. But they don't define me, 'cause my life has a cause. So suicide, you can't take me, 'cause my life isn't yours.
So what is suicide? Let's see what our students around the UK had to say.
I think suicide is a personal decision to end your life. It's quite a sad topic.
When someone would decide to take their own life.
Taking your own life.
To stop your own pain and to avoid things that you don't like because you just don't want to endure anything.
Suicide is when a person feels so low and so just done with the world that they feel like they can't continue and they don't want to continue. So they take measures to end their own life.
The ultimate end is where someone feels that they can't live life anymore. They'd rather not live life and feel anything than be in the world.
Nice one. Up next to share their thoughts on today's topic is Linz from LZ7.
Hey, what's good, people? My name is Linz. I'm the frontman to a band called LZ7. Have a little look at what we do. So today, I'm here to talk about the subject of suicide. It feels like a real heavy thing to talk about, doesn't it? According to dictionary.com, suicide is the intentional taking of one's own life. Now, I know that in this moment in COVID, a lot of people are dealing with this kind of stuff. In fact, I was talking to a friend the other day and he said a friend of his had actually taken her life because she couldn't see a way out of this moment. When LZ7 first started, we launched a single in the charts, and it meant that we went on tour. We ended up in a country called New Zealand. I walked into this school, we do lots of high schools work. These year 10s were lit. Like literally there was a crowd surf going across the back. We get to one of our songs called Ditto, we start singing this song. And over on the left-hand side of the bleacher, I can just see this one girl sat there, blacked out, black chains, bright red hair. At the end of Ditto, I said this. I said, look, life is like a roller coaster. Life is going to throw you a curveball. Sometimes the roller coaster goes round a bend. Maybe you've had a tough day, a tough start, a tough night. Maybe you're just having a tough life. Secret to life is when the roller coaster leaves you hanging upside down and it breaks down. The secret to life are these 3 words: never give up. As I said that, the girl with the red hair just puts her head to the side and starts to sob. I walked over to her at the end of the lesson. I said, yo, you good? She's like, no. I said, look, here's a free ticket to the show. Come down, I'd love to see you. That was on a Wednesday. Friday night, 3,500 people turn up to the arena, and 100 feet from the stage, I can just see the red hair looking at me. I'm like this, come on, like giving it everything. The whole crowd is lit, going for it. I'm looking at her going, come on, dance. And she's like, I said it again. I got to Ditto and I said, look, life is like a roller coaster. The secret to life are these 3 words: never give up. I said, look, I'm churchy, I'm a Christian. I believe God's got a plan for your life. No matter what you've been through, no matter what's been said to you, no matter what's been done to you, whatever's been said behind your back, God's got you here for a reason. Never give up. Keep breathing. The girl with the red hair just stands there, starts to sob. I come off stage, and in the alcove, all I can see is the silhouette of the girl with the red hair. And I'm like, yo, are you all right? She goes, nah, you messed up my plans. I'm like, what are you talking about? Everyone's raving. Have I messed up your plans? What are you telling me? She says, yo, you don't understand. You came in my school on Wednesday. You turned that music on, and boom, something hit me like a train. I've never felt anything like it. She said, you gave me a free ticket, and I got to be honest, Linz, I don't even like your music. And I was like, I can kind of tell. She said, but I had to come down and find out what it was all about. So I came down tonight, and I'm stood there, and you said it again. You said, never give up. But then you told me that God's got a plan for my life, that God's got a purpose for me to be here. And I'm like, yeah, but how's that messed up your plans? She says, I went home on a Wednesday, and I looked in my journal, and I'd set a date to jump off the roller coaster of life. I said, when was that? She says, tonight after the show. I said, what does that look like to a year 10? She puts her hand in her pocket, she gets out 2 blades, she gets out 160 pills, and she gets out 2 notes, one for mum and one for dad. She says, this is what it looks like. She pulls her sleeve up. She hasn't got any place that she can't cut anymore. She says, but you told me I've got a plan and a purpose, and I've got something to live for. And she turns and she starts to roll all this stuff up. She holds it out, and she says, she holds out her hand, puts it, and drops it straight into my hand. 3 months later, I get an email from her. We're back in England. She says, yo, I'm doing good. I took myself to church. The youth group are treating me well. She said, you see, I'm on the receiving end of so much of this, and so much of this because I look different. The only way that I thought that would disappear is if I disappeared. 6 months later, she sends another email. She says, I'm still in church. I'm going into counselling. 9 months later, final email. She says, yo, I'm taking myself into actual therapy. This was 5 years ago. In 2017, we went back to New Zealand, and I walk into this school. So we start doing this lesson, it's year 10s. There's a lad on the front rows, self-esteem's so low, he can't even look up and look me in the eyes. But he's wearing the same t-shirt as me. So I walk over to him, and I'm like, yo, you all right? And I give him a free ticket. And he can't even look up. But his girlfriend next to him, blonde hair, blue eyes, she's got her arm around him. As I start talking to him, the girl pipes up, and she says, yo, Linz, you remember me? I'm like, nah. She says, it's Caitlin. So I walk over to go and get some water, and I'm thinking, Caitlin, because I try to remember names. I'm like, Caitlin. Holy smokes, you're the girl with the red hair. I walk back to her, and she says, yeah. I said, Caitlin, you're that girl with the red hair from 3 years ago. She says, yeah. She says, it's the first time I've worn a t-shirt because all my scars have healed up. I said, yo, you're chilling with your boy. This is your boy, man. She goes, no. Don't get it twisted, Linz. He's in year 10. I'm in year 13 now. I'm part of the pastoral care system that's taken the year 10s through the same stuff that I went through when I was in year 10. She made that choice. And you want to see what the UK looks like in 20 years' time, it's all down to our choices right now. Your choice to never give up, to live your life on purpose, to be the best version of you that you can be, allows you to reach your dreams. Not only does it allow you to reach your dreams, but you take everybody else with you. But it's all down to a choice. Thanks for listening to me. I'll say those 3 words. Never give up. So if any of you guys are battling with any of the stuff we've talked about, we've got a resource online just for you. www.suicide impossible.uk.com. It's a play on the word impossible, because I don't believe anything's impossible for you guys. Go check it out.
Thanks, Linz. Let's take a look at some facts and stats with Adam and Destiny.
Data released by the World Health Organization indicated that close to 800,000 people die due to suicide every year, which is one person every 40 seconds. There are indicators that for each adult who died by suicide, there may have been more than 20 others attempting suicide. Suicide is a global phenomenon, accounting for 1.4% of all deaths worldwide, which made it the 18th leading cause of death back in 2016.
Have you ever wondered why the term commonly used for someone taking their own life is committing suicide? It makes it sound like they've done something illegal, doesn't it? Prior to 1961, suicide was considered a crime in the UK. Anyone who attempted suicide and survived could be prosecuted and imprisoned, whilst families of those who succeeded could also be potentially prosecuted. Interestingly, the Suicide Act of 1961, while decriminalising the act of someone taking their own life, does contain a subsection detailing that anyone who assists someone in taking their own life has committed a criminal act, which can be punishable by up to 14 years in prison. It is one of the only crimes where an accessory can be liable in spite of the principal actor having broken no law.
In a report exploring why men in their 40s and 50s, especially those with lower incomes, experience higher suicide rates than other age groups, the Samaritans found that factors and events that relate to suicide include struggling academically, struggling to start courses or work, difficulty making friends, unexpected illness or injury, leaving work or job loss, and interactions with the criminal justice system.
But it's not just adults who commit suicide. Young Minds website quotes the Office of National Statistics, showing a 15% increase in the number of teenagers taking their own lives in 2018, with a whopping 67% increase since 2010. If you're struggling, make sure you're getting the help and the support that you need. And if you see anyone else struggling or feeling isolated, make sure that you speak up for them or include them in activities. You could literally save someone's life.
Mind.org.uk tell us that suicidal feelings can mean having abstract thoughts about ending your life, or feeling that people would be better off without you. Or it can mean thinking about methods of suicide or making clear plans to take your own life. If you're feeling suicidal, you might be scared or confused by these feelings. You may find the feelings overwhelming, but you are not alone. There are people who care for you.
So we asked our students, why do you think someone would consider death over life?
I think some people would probably consider death over life because there are so many different situations where people can find themselves in, like maybe homelessness, a broken relationship, drug abuse, or bullying, alcohol problems. I don't know, there's so many different things and everyone experiences like different situations.
I think people consider death over life because sometimes they don't find life bearable and they decide that sadly that's the only option.
I think it's a mental thing. It's just too many negative thoughts in your head to the point where you just don't want to feel like that anymore, so you'd rather just not feel anything.
I think for some people it might be because what they're dealing with in the world seems like too much for them to bear, too much for them to cope with, and so the option of not having to cope with anything at all seems a lot better than having all this super intense stuff going on around them.
I really don't know because I've never been in that position myself, and I imagine it's a horrible place to be, but I could never understand that because I've never been there, so I don't think it's fair to pass judgment on that.
Some people live in very harsh environments, like so abusive families, just to escape the pain that they're already going through.
Some people might feel like the world would just be better off without them, and that, yeah, it would just be better for everyone if they weren't around.
I think some people don't know their purpose in life and they don't know that they're loved, they don't understand it, and they think that they'd be somehow happier if they didn't exist, which is a strange thought to like comprehend.
Mind.org.uk help us to understand why someone may consider suicide by explaining that a person may think or feel hopeless, that there is no point in living, or tearful and overwhelmed by negative thoughts. Maybe there's an unbearable pain that you can't imagine ending, or the feeling of being useless, not wanted or not needed by others.
That someone may feel desperate, as if they have no other choice, or that everyone would be better off without them, or that they feel cut off from their body or physically numb. Maybe they even are fascinated by death.
Now, you may experience poor sleep, a change in appetite, no desire to take care of yourself. You may want to avoid others, struggle to communicate, practice self-loathing, and experience low self-esteem and have urges to self-harm.
Feelings of suicidal tendencies last differently for everyone. It is common to feel as if you'll never be happy or hopeful again. But with treatment and support, including self-care, the majority of people who have felt suicidal go on to live fulfilling lives. The earlier you let someone know how you're feeling, the quicker you'll be able to get that support to overcome these feelings.
It's important that you know that you do have a choice to choose life. However, if you are feeling or experiencing anything that we've talked about, please remember, do speak to an adult you trust ASAP to get support.
Depression and suicidal thoughts can affect any of us. Let's take a quick look at a promo video created by YouTube for one of their original documentaries soon to hit our screens.
Hello, I'm 7-year-old Jimmy Lovato.
It's just a little red wine, I'll be fine.
I've had so much to say over the past 2 years, wanting to set the record straight about what it was that happened. FYI, I'm just gonna say it all, and then if we don't want to use any of it, we can take it out.
TMZ reports that the singer was rushed to the hospital unconscious.
Law enforcement is stating that she overdosed.
She should be dead.
You don't want the true story from me.
I can't believe y'all are doing this.
So you just want to know everything.
Any time that you suppress a part of yourself, it's gonna overflow.
When you're young and you're famous, my God, it's tough.
It was hammered into her head. You have to be this icon.
Mental health is something that we all need to talk about.
I don't even know why I'm sober anymore.
I was dancing with the devil, out of control.
Oh, hey, be careful, okay? I felt like I needed to tell you that I'm always careful.
Demi's good at making you believe that she's okay.
Demi is very good at hiding what she needs to hide.
I crossed a line that I had never crossed.
Dancing with the Devil is a YouTube original which will be premiering on the 23rd of March this year. Now, we've not seen it ourselves, but it's said that the former US X Factor judge Demi Lovato will reveal how the entertainment industry played a part in her well-documented troubles, which include struggles with eating disorders, a bipolar diagnosis, as well as an addiction to drugs.
The singer and actress claims she was just 7 the first time she considered killing herself, but says that wasn't the last time. In a Dr. Phil interview, Demi said, "If I could tell anybody that's thinking about taking their own life, it's to reach out to people. Don't hold it inside, don't isolate, reach out to people, whether it's close friends, family. Every single person on this planet is worth life."
Kerry Katona's experiences of mental health issues began even before she was born, when her mom tried to commit suicide while she was 8 months pregnant with Kerry. At 3 years old, Kerry watched her mom slit her wrists for the first time. Sadly, up until the age of 17, her mom's attempts to take her own life were constant in her life. Kerry has considered taking her own life in the past, and the reality star has had her daughter's names tattooed on her own wrists to stop her following her mom's footsteps.
Kerry is speaking out in support of the Sun's You're Not Alone campaign, which aims to raise awareness around suicide and help save lives. Have you ever considered how you could help those that are struggling? Maybe take some time out today to think about how you could do this. Later on, you will find out about the hashtag Choose to Live campaign. Maybe you could jump on board that. Up next though, we've got Quote of the Day, and that's with Lauren.
I once heard someone say this, and I think it's an amazing quote. Place your hand over your heart. Can you feel it? That is called purpose. You are alive for a reason, so don't ever give up. You are here for a reason. You are not a mistake. I believe God created you and He loves you. When I was younger, I really struggled with wanting to end my life. I didn't see the point in living, but something in me changed and I overcame that. You'll hear my story later on. Stay strong, you can get through this.
Thanks, Lauren. I love that. But what do you do practically if you are really struggling? We asked our students this question. Have you ever been in a place where you just hated life? And if so, what did you do? And this was their response.
Yeah, sixth form wasn't the greatest. There was a lot of pressure going on, and especially with like this year, no one enjoyed this year. But go to the toilet, just have a cry with your friend, get it out. And if you have to do that on a daily basis, then so be it. But as long as you're not doing it on your own, don't do it on your own. That's sad. Have I done it on my own? Yes.
I've been in many positions when I just give up on the world. And what I did was, I think for me personally, whenever I would get upset, I would just sit down and I'd sit with my thoughts and I would work out it logically. I'd think, yeah, this is bad now, it's all bad now, but it's like a rain cloud. Like, obviously when the rain comes, it pours and it pours hard and it, it's just awful, but you've just got to wait for that rain cloud to go and then it's the bright sky again.
Yeah, so when I was with my mum, she was quite abusive. Obviously I didn't want to go through that anymore, but at the time I just thought to myself, I'm young, I can get out of it at some point. I just got to deal with it at this time, and then the time will come better. And now I'm just with my dad, so I'm happy now.
At one point I was just in a relationship with someone that didn't respect me, didn't want the best for me, and I just had to step back, look at the situation and realise what the problem was, and I just had to cut them off and surround myself with people that loved me and encouraged me.
There's obviously days where things can get very overwhelming and you just think, I wish this could all just go away. But I think in those situations, for me, because that type of situation has mostly arisen from kind of external factors like stress to do with work or uni. I would say surrounding myself with friends and kind of, focusing on the key relationships in my life kind of gave me a bit of perspective around that.
Yeah, there was several years in high school where I got bullied quite severely and I just didn't enjoy, going to school anymore. And then, of course, it then carried on online over games and etc. So I just didn't enjoy existing, I guess, in some sense. And there were several times where I just thought, maybe, just maybe, I did something and it looked like an accident, but it would relieve me from all the idiots at my school. But I just then ended up thinking, who would I then affect by doing it to myself? Because it would relieve my pain, but it could inflict more upon, say, my family.
For me, you've just got to get through it, and you just got to think logically that you're going to feel great tomorrow or the day after. There's always something to think about that's positive. And for some people, there might not be something that's positive, but you've got to make something positive. You've got to think that way. You've got to think positive.
rethink.org.uk have a great how to cope fact sheet detailing how to help yourself and get support, but also how to create a crisis plan or box. Here's some of their top tips on how to help yourself if you are in the middle of a crisis.
Number 1, just trying to get through today rather than focusing on the future.
Number 2, talk about how you are feeling with someone that you trust or an emotional support helpline.
Number 3, contact a health professional such as your GP or community mental health team.
Number 4, try to do activities you enjoy which take your mind off what you are thinking.
And number 5, if you're in real danger of taking your own life, call emergency services on 999 or go to A&E.
Up next is My Story, the part in the programme where we hear somebody's personal experience. Today we have Lauren's story.
What's happening? It's your girl Lauren. Growing up, my mum had something called bipolar, and my dad was quite an angry and violent person. So he would beat my mum up, but he would also beat me up and put me in this cupboard underneath the stairs. Now, as you can imagine, that really affected me as a child. I ended up becoming this very angry girl, and so I would go around hurting other people. Now, you might remember my story from the bullying lesson when I talked a little bit about this part of my story. But anyway, moving on, when I was 7, my mum and dad decided to split up. And I thought, amazing, life is going to be so much better. Dad's left, there's not going to be any more issues in the house. But that wasn't the case. My mum ended up becoming even more poorly. And I ended up looking after my brother and sister, cooking, cleaning, taking us to school. And that was quite hard for me as a child. During this time, I met this youth leader on my estate who invited me to go along to their youth group. So I started going along, we'd just have like loads of fun, there was a few of us hanging out, and there was always something about them that really struck me. Like they always kept loving me, even though I was this angry and violent young person, they just kept loving me, and I always thought that was really strange. Anyway, fast forward a few years, I'm 14 by this point, and I come home from school and my mum is laid out unconscious on the floor because she's overdosed on so many tablets. So my mum gets sectioned in hospital, my brother and sister get moved to live with the family, and I end up getting moved into foster care. I'd never been through anything like that before. It was really hard. I was living in foster care with a family that I didn't really know, whilst also being this really broken girl. I used to have these suicidal thoughts that would go through my mind like, why are you even alive? What is the purpose for your existence? Like, you would be better off dead. And so this one day I went to this bridge and I stood at the edge of this bridge and I jumped, but it was like this gush of wind held me back. It was so bizarre. At the time I was so confused. There was nobody around. It was a completely calm day. There was no way that it could have been. Then this thought went through my head of, is that you, God? And then I was like, nah, don't be stupid, Lauren. Like, you don't believe in God. I decided to take myself home. The next day, I went along to my youth group and my youth leader said, oh, we're going to go to this gig. Do you want to come, Lauren? So I was like, yeah, sick, let's go to this gig. They didn't tell me it was a Christian gig because they knew that I wouldn't have gone. Anyway, I'm at this gig, I'm like partying along at the back, having so much fun. And then this guy gets up on stage and says, there's someone here today that tried to commit suicide yesterday, but I'm here today to tell you that God has got a plan for your life. I was like, what on earth? How does he know my story? This is so weird. I'd not told anybody about this. There was no way on this earth that he could have known that unless it was God. And then I was like, God, like, is that you? So after the gig, I decided to go to church, read my Bible, pray, and check out who is God, who is Jesus. And for me, I decided that he was real, that he does love me and he does have a good plan for my life, and he completely changed my life. Like, I am so different to the person that I was back then. So what I would say to you today is, if you're struggling with any of the things that I've been talking about today, then please make sure that you speak to an adult that you can trust. In the Bible, it says this amazing verse. It says, for God so loved the whole world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. I believe that that's not just for me, but that's for all of us, that God loves all of us, that he has has a good plan for our lives. You are amazing. Your life is valuable. You are not a mistake. My name is Lauren Job, and this is my story.
Thanks, Lauren, for sharing your story with us. As we said in the beginning, if you have any questions from this session, why not talk about it in your groups afterwards? Also, if your teacher or leader would like to extend the session, you can access the questions that accompany this episode by following the link in the description on YouTube.
If you are personally struggling with any of the content, please do think of an adult you can trust that you can talk to as soon as possible. Don't wait. If you would rather speak to someone you don't know, then either use Young Minds Crisis Messenger or call Childline or Hopeline UK. Advisors will want to work with you to understand why these thoughts of suicide might be present. They also want to provide you with a safe space to talk through anything happening in your life that could be impacting on your or anyone else's ability to stay safe.
So there are many great websites and charities that we can also signpost you to that can inform and support you moving forward. As you probably remember when Linz talked, impossible.uk.com, his website. Or you can check out Papyrus, Young Minds, Calm, The Mix, and of course, Childline.
Don't forget, many of the bands that you see on the message today are releasing new content on their socials every week. Every month, all the Message Trust bands get together for one massive show called Higher Live. The band YouTube channels are on the screen, so why don't you check them out today?
Today we're going to leave you with a brand new song from Amongst Wolves called Voices. But first, let's hear from Clarissa as she explains why they wrote this song and how to jump on the #ChooseToLive campaign.
Around 800,000 people take their own life every single year. It's the third leading cause of death in 15 to 19-year-olds, and it affects families, communities, and entire countries all around the world. This absolutely breaks my heart. No one should ever feel like the only choice in life is to choose death. And so we decided to do something about it. And it's all about making the choice to hold on to life, even on the darkest days, because there is a reason to have hope. As Christians, we believe that hope is Jesus. We believe that there is no one so messed up or so broken that they are beyond saving. You are not beyond saving, so please choose to live. But this isn't just about a song. Actually, you could help save someone's life as well. So we started the #ChooseToLive, and here's what you need to do.
There is nothing romantic about suicide. Don't you believe it? It's a filthy lie. Ain't no beautiful way to take your life.
All of these voices inside my head, sometimes they tell me I'm better off dead, but I know the truth, feel it in my chest, so I choose to live and I won't suggest. I'm falling apart. It feels like all of my thoughts taking over my heart. Yeah, they sink their teeth in, sink their teeth in. Yeah, they stop me breathing, stop me breathing. Sometimes I feel I've got nothing to give, but I know that my God gives me reason to live. Yeah, He's undefeated, undefeated. Yeah, He keeps me breathing, keeps me breathing. All of these voices inside my head, sometimes they tell me I'm better off dead. I know the truth, feel it in my chest, so I choose to live and I won't fear death. I'm holding on to the words you said, that I am loved and you hear my prayers. You gave me life and you give me rest, so I choose to live.
There is nothing romantic about suicide. Don't you believe it? It's a filthy lie. Ain't no beautiful way to take your life. Jesus already made the sacrifice. There is nothing romantic about suicide. Don't you believe it? It's a filthy lie. Ain't no beautiful way to take your life. Jesus already made the sacrifice. Don't you believe it? It's a filthy lie. Ain't no beautiful way to take your life. Jesus already made the sacrifice.